Hey there, my name is Steve Lamothe, the founder at Elevate Realty Group. Many of you know me because we spoke not too long ago, yesterday, the day before. However, this video is about the next steps with our Concierge program. And first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to meet with you about your move and discuss your goals with you. And more importantly, embarking on this partnership with us. It takes a lot of trust and faith from you that we know what we're doing, and I just want to say thank you. I also want to say, over the course of the 5 years I've been offering this program, we've really learned mistakes, we've learned better processes, and I want to say we're the only company in the Sacramento region or nationwide that does this at a high level and does this for customers at no additional cost or any additional interest. And it's really important that we keep it that way, so we follow our process. And on a side note, we've given over $2.5 million in net equity after repair costs and fees back to our customers that they wouldn't have had if we didn't do this program. So I'm really, really proud of that. And the agents on our team are really, really proud of that. So, in this video, I want to talk about the next steps in the key phases of Concierge so that you know what to expect. So, now that we've met, we've signed the agreement, that's why you're getting this video. The next steps are you're going to hear from our listing team. Our listing manager is going to reach out to you to introduce themselves and go over the next step. I'm going to break it down in 2 phases for you, okay? Because if you called us and your home was ready to go, we would go right into our 3rd phase, which is called pre-listing phase. That's the staging, cleaning, photos, all of that. But since we're going to start renovating the home, we go into phase 1 of Concierge program. So after our listing manager calls you and goes over the next steps, we're going to begin working on phase 1, which is the bid phase. It's very important that we work quickly. On average, you can expect phase 1 should last 1 to 1.5 weeks, depending on the vendors and depending on how many repairs we are going to do. The first step is we schedule our vendors to come out and measure for or give estimates for any of the work we're going to do. So for flooring, paint, dry rot repair, roof repair, backyard, all of that, we'll schedule our vendors and have them come out so we can get really clear estimates on the cost. It's really important to know that we get all of the estimates done before we start to discuss them, okay? Because if we got one estimate at a time and called you and discussed it, we wouldn't have a clear picture on the entire cost of the project. So key point number 1 is be patient with us, because we're gonna get all of the estimates up front, and then either myself or your agent will sit down and we'll call to discuss all of the estimates so you get a transparent look of all of the cost. Does that make sense? So once we get all the estimates, we'll call you to discuss them. It's very important to note at this time, please keep in mind, we renovate 70, 100 homes a year. I've been doing this for 10 years. Our listing managers have been doing this for years. We have perfected this process. The repairs that we're making are to maximize the return on investment, and the only repairs that we advise you do are those that give the highest net return. We try to stay away from expensive remodeling or repairs that we know are going to be expensive and costly and not net that great of a return. It's important to also note, when it comes to picking of colors, items, fixtures, that kind of thing, we do not allow our customers to pick or interject in any of the colors or fixtures. I've learned this from mistakes in the past. The challenge with that is customers tend to either be one of 2 ways. They pick the cheapest of the cheap or the most expensive of the expensive, and it doesn't give us that net positive result that we're trying to get, which is netting the highest ROI. And keep in mind, this is what we do. We're active full-time real estate agents. We know what buyers want. We know what's going to net the best return. So we tend to pick products that we know buyers want and the products that they want, and also the products that we get the best pricing on from our vendors. That's a good segue into key point number 2. When it comes to our vendors, I've been doing this for 10 years in building relationships, and we remodel close to 100 homes a year. Our vendors already give us the best pricing possible. We're going to save you 20 to 30%, sometimes even more, on most of your repairs. That's part of the beauty of this program. If you tried to remodel your home before meeting us, you're gonna spend 20 to 30% more, albeit not only paying the premium there, but then you have to pay a real estate agent to sell your home. We're covering our fee with the savings we're giving you in the remodeling program. It's just a beautiful symbiotic relationship. When it comes to our vendor relationships, we do not negotiate with them over repairs. When we give you those bids, that's the very best pricing that they can give us. Sometimes if we feel like it's high, or if it's a vendor for a repair that we don't normally do, I'll begin negotiating. But with most of our vendors, I've already negotiated with them years ago, and we set pricing, and we make sure as inflation takes hold that their increases in pricing are fair and still 20 to 30% below market. So I just want to go over that key point. When you get your bid back, nobody wants to spend money on their home. However, I can assure you, every dollar that we invest here, we should net a 3 to 7% return, 7x return. For every dollar, we get 7 back when we go to sell. If I feel like it's a repair that we don't need, I'm going to tell you, okay? So that's the key piece of advice that we give you in the value of the program, is we know what to fix and we get great pricing and you net the positive return. Make sense? So once we get all the bids, it's important to know in phase 1 at the very end, we're gonna sign our repayment agreement. This is our contract between each other to detail out, here's what we're gonna do for you, and here's all of your estimates, and then here's what you're gonna do for us. You're gonna repay us back at closing. This keeps everyone honest, and it keeps us to our budget. I will add a little disclaimer, and we'll get to that as we get into phase 2. Phase 2 is really important to start, once we make an agreement and we know what we're gonna do, it's extremely important to move quickly into phase 2, which is scheduling the repairs. Because our vendors may be booked out 2 or 3 weeks, so we want to begin scheduling as fast as possible. And it might feel like myself and our listing management team is pushing you and urging you to move quickly. The only reason we're doing that is because we're trying to get this as seamless as possible and as pain-free as possible, so that we can get the repairs scheduled as fast as possible. When our vendors are coming to do the work, it's important to note that we work in predictable stages, meaning our painter, let's say we're just doing paint, carpet, or paint, flooring, and landscaping. It's very important to know that the painter is going to come in first, and then the flooring is going to take place, because we can usually save like 10% on your painting costs if the painter doesn't have to cover all of your floors, right? If we're replacing the floors anyways, the painter doesn't have to spend time prepping, so they give us a better deal on paint. After the flooring guys come in and lay the floor, the painters come back and do minor touch-up, boom, boom, it's done. So it's important when it comes to scheduling, there's a very specific way at which we do the repairs. That's why we have this very high sense of urgency. The other key point in the execution phase, we call it, which is phase 2, is at the very beginning of that, we're ordering your inspections, right? Your home inspection, pest inspection, or roof inspection. During execution phase, when our vendors are at the house, we will be taking care of any repairs that are absolutely needed, which are the ones that we think the buyer would ask you for. All of that is included in your concierge package. I just want to give you a heads up there. We'll normally order the home, pest, roof inspections before we even start getting bids. That way our vendors know what they're expecting to do in terms of dry rot repair before painting or anything like that. Or if there's any major repairs that cost a lot of money, that might change what we spend on the concierge program. In the grand scheme of things, over the 5 years of utilizing this program, it doesn't matter how much money we spend, as long as the repairs are the right ones, we always see a net return. So don't be afraid of the numbers. If I feel like the numbers are too high and we're not gonna get that money back, we have a mutually vested interest to not do that. Does that make sense? We're all about making our customer happy and creating a 5-star experience, not recommending bad repairs and overspending and having disappointed customers. After phases 1 and 2 are done, we move into phase 3, which is pre-listing phase, let's call it, where we're going over cleaning, staging, finalizing, making the house look pretty, and shooting the photos and video. We'll talk about that at a later date. That would be if you came to us with a ready home. This is the next steps of what happens after you are moving forward with Concierge. And remember, before we start paying for renovations, we're just exploring the costs, we're putting together the plan, and really just giving you a clear picture on what the net ROI is. It's also key point, I know we went over this in our meeting, however, when it comes to estimating how much money we spend and what will we get in return for that, it is very difficult. Even on all of my flips and developments, I can't say if I spend $60,000, I'm gonna get $120,000 back. It's extremely difficult. What I like to say is, if we spend the $10,000 to make the home in as good of show-ready condition as possible and what buyers want in today's market, I can assure you that we're gonna net the most money possible that that home can sell for. What that number is, we're gonna do our best job to try to estimate it. But a lot of people try to pin us down on, if I spend $5,000, am I gonna get $15,000? And that's not always the case. Thank you so much for the opportunity to earn your business and work with you on the Concierge program. We are really proud of it. Like I said, please tell your friends, family, and coworkers about this program and share your experience as we're going through it. We are the only company in our market giving this huge opportunity back to our customers to put millions of dollars back in their pockets. Thank you so much.